This Offensive Player of the Year edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN.
Hi, this is Merrill Hodge, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Fucking shine box.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kram?
Dog. Hello, Sean.
What's happening?
Happy Wednesday if you're watching live. Happy Thursday if you're listening.
Shout out you same intro from my hot yoga teacher Stephanie.
What's that?
She likes to say happy whatever the day is. So
she's clearly been maybe she worked with me at one of my corporate stops.
Stealing one of Kramer's great intros.
I used it on an email this morning, Sean.
You did. Joining us in studio, you know him, you love him. The man in the box, CJ Sullivan. What's happening, CJ?
What's up? Good to be here again. And that just made me think about, not to pass back to last Friday when I filled in for the VCN show. Maybe that's why Ryan took off, because it was Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah.
And and happy Friday the 13th really isn't a thing. And he likes to introduce happy, welcome, and all that stuff. And, he avoids the Friday the 13th.
And
It's true.
And I think you mentioned it, CJ, maybe later on the show. I forget if we talked about it on
the
air.
end.
But that was the latest I've ever gone on a Friday the 13th without anyone bringing up, hey, it's Friday the 13th. Gambling, superstitions.
Right.
It's it just never came up.
I think as gamblers, we're just impervious to like that's like hack superstition.
Yes.
Friday the 13th. Oh, it's bad luck. It's bad luck every day. All right. Friday the 13th doesn't scare me at all.
No, I did lose my Pacers plus 6.5 in a very spooky fashion, but they blew that one. Oh, what are you gonna do? We're here talking NFL futures, Offensive Player of the Year. We already did the Defensive Player of the Year earlier in the week. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you smash the subscribe button. How we feeling coming into the NFL coach, or sorry, not Coach of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Kramer?
Well, I mean, in general,
yeah,
feel great.
Oh, that's awesome.
We are a mere couple weeks away from the I don't know what we'll call it, some sort of religious experience as we venture out. Well, for me at least, to put down almost all my futures. Now, CJ over here has talked me into a concept where I go on my vision quest off the grid camping trip first. Then I return to Vegas. Then I place all the bets. We'll see. The problem is I'll have a full 24 hours in Vegas when Sean will not be there, and I will be by myself to do what I who knows? I mean, I was doing the math on the credit line and see if I could somehow manage to work. I don't know. There's a lot of things I want to bet on.
All right.
Offensive Player of the Year is one of the things that I will have some bullets into. One of the things I already have a paper ticket bullet into. And so I'm sure I'll get some more.
I get it. You're pushing me to come to Vegas for you to supervise.
CJ,
now,
CJ.
if I'm required to be there to keep you supervised on Saturday, maybe I might have to do that. But yeah, it's perfect.
What if we can lock CJ in as a judge for the bikini contest at Stadium Swim that Saturday?
Bikinis and weenies.
Oh my God!
There is a hot dog / bikini eating contest. No word if Kramer will be entering, but
which portion?
I think it's a 2-for-1. I don't know. I don't know how you win. if it's like they grade you on the bikini and the hot dog eating performance, I really don't know the rules.
Oh,
We're gonna have to,
the girls are eating as well. That's
Yeah,
what
I think that is
hilarious. Yes.
Is it a volume thing, or are we looking
I think it is. Judging from some of the contestants last
quality
year,
or quantity? Because I don't know. The body count's a big topic.
maybe
right
they
now.
judge how you eat the hot dog in the bikini. Like, wow, she only put down one hot dog, but god damn, that girl is the winner.
Why does she need to put her hand inside of her pants while she's eating that hot dog?
Oh, Ryan.
Well,
Wow.
there's that trend
It's
online.
a family show.
There's that trend online where they have the hot dogs like on a string tied between their knees, whatever, and they flip it up into their mouth. You know,
What?
Yeah.
And they do it in slow motion.
It's like
I don't get this.
It's like a bachelorette party.
Right,
thing,
oh.
or-
kind of a
yeah.
situation.
Oh, because they're that's right.
and there's
'cause
bikinis involved.
Yeah, because it's a wiener.
all ladies love to be horse.
There you go.
That's basically.
They like dick-shaped straws.
And also, good tip around the
Penis
ladies:
pasta.
don't bring up Friday the 13th right before you're about to board an airplane.
Oh,
Don't.
spooky.
I wouldn't do that.
You know, there is no row 13 on airplanes because
Really?
Floor
yeah,
13.
Because of that, there's a lot of no floor 13s.
Yeah.
Because we all heard of those plane crashes where only row 13 gets taken
Yep.
out and everyone
Well,
else.
actually, I'm pretty
survives.
sure the guy who survived that India crash might have been in row 13.
No, he was. I know he was in seat 11. So
11A, right?
11A.
You guys were just talking about this.
Yeah. Shout out to
He jumped out.
Lucky
right?
11,
Yeah.
7-Eleven.
I mean, he did what I would have like if had you asked me. You know, an airplane that you are on is crashing.
Mhm.
What do? Exactly what that guy did.
What was his technique?
What did he do?
Did he not pop the door open and jump out right before it
Oh,
crashed?
I don't know.
Do
I thought he stayed in his seat.
is that similar to like if an elevator's crashing, you try to time the jump
Yep.
as it hits the ground,
Yep.
like that kind of
It's your only
situation?
chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, most likely, what's going to happen is even if you time the jump perfectly,
Right.
the elevator is going to compress upon itself because it's not designed to handle that kind of impact.
Yeah.
And you're going to be smushed like a fucking peanut butter jelly sandwich.
Now, did he have the door open already? Because there's no way you can do a pop and jump.
I don't know
at
anything
that
about what
timing.
happened,
All right.
but I do know that people have survived crashing planes by pulling off similar gimmicks where you get, the plane is slow enough because there's enough drag because you're close enough to the ground where you're able to essentially just jump and pray.
Yeah. Remember those kids in the Colombian jungle?
There was that. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
there was that. Well, that's the crazy story where
Right.
the whole family survived.
Well, the
and they were
mom
like
died.
living.
The kids survived.
Yeah,
the
the
kids
kids-
survived on
and they
their
were
own.
living there
yeah,
for
like a month. They were like they had a whole like community. They were.
It
cooking
might have been longer than
They were
that.
cooking
Might
pigs
have
and
been
stuff
longer
like
than
that.
No, I don't think he jumped out.
No?
No.
Okay.
He was in the exit row. And they said maybe the
Next to the
extra
door.
space
Mm.
helped him, prevented him from being crushed.
So he lied when he said he would help others in a crash to sit in that exit row.
Yeah, he just helped himself. He
Yeah.
survived. All right. NFL Offensive Player of the Year. Let's talk criteria. For me, I'm a staunch believer that a quarterback is not going to win the award. We've had 6 years in a row. Quarterback hasn't won it. You got to go back down to Patrick Mahomes last year in 2018. I will not be playing any quarterbacks in this market. Only running backs, receivers. For me, the writers like to reward the best offensive player that's not a quarterback. That's the new criteria. That's the way they're doing it.
Mhm.
You can't talk me into any other way. Kramer, are you playing any quarterbacks this year?
We're going to talk about a couple that I will.
Yeah.
Here's what I would say, with the exception of 2023, a quarterback has finished in the top 3 every single of these years you're talking about.
Yes.
I would.
They'll get votes. If you're going to bet on them to get votes, I would take that bet. They're just not going to win.
I mean, Lamar came in second last year.
Lamar wins this award last year, if not for Barkley's historic
Well,
performance.
No.
him and Jamar Chase.
What do you mean no?
But I think
No, Jamar Chase would win.
I believe you're right. That's what my argument is. If Saquon doesn't have that year and Chase doesn't have that year, Lamar does win it. Because they wanted to give it to Josh Allen the MVP and Lamar some of those 50-50.
See,
That's what kind of it is.
I used to
If Chase doesn't have that year and Saquon, who Lamar definitely gets it.
used to think that way.
You throw Amron St. Brown's in there in the pre-show meetings in there was absolutely ridiculous.
I used to think.
We have like a 15-team parlay, he said, of players just playing average.
Well, I used to think that.
I think these guys put up historic numbers.
I used to think that in order that if there was a quarterback and two quarterbacks that had really good years that they didn't know how to give them the MVP, that they would give them one would win Offensive Player of the Year and one would win MVP. But if you go back to 2022, you'll see that wasn't the case because Patrick Mahomes got first in MVP, Jalen Hurts got second, and then Offensive Player of the Year, Justin Jefferson got first, Patrick Mahomes got second, and Jalen Hurts got 3. Tyreek Hill got 4. So I just don't think it's going to happen. I think if for a quarterback to win, you have to have all these top Saquon, Chase, Jamar Gibbs, Justin Jefferson, Derrick Henry, Nico Collins, CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, like all these top running back and receivers not to have good years.
I think
CJ's on the quarterback.
I'm not on the quarterbacks. I'm just not shutting it out like you. I'm not putting a blind eye to available numbers and bets when there's a possibility it can hit.
You're right in that there's been a shift in how the award is voted for.
Yes.
But you're wrong in zooming into a 6-year window where quarterbacks were often very, very much getting significant votes. Not one of these like, look, they were a 6th place, got a single vote. I think it's still very possible. Now, I will say this. I think the criteria to which you win this type of award as a quarterback comes with a tremendous amount, like rushing ability. You cannot pick a pocket passer, in my opinion. I think to be Offensive Player of the Year now and be a quarterback, you probably are running the ball. But Sean's the basic case that Sean has is accurate, that this is the guy who's winning your fantasy league.
Yeah,
probably.
But that's why we're getting numbers.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go through it. And yeah, I mean, if you are in the Patreon in the sheets, I did put a little summary of.
Nice.
And again, I put the links to the votes. It's very useful to go back, and it's actually quite educational to go back and just peruse who was doing what years.
Well, and also I went and just added. Not Ryan did obviously all the major work on the spreadsheet, but I added in the last 8 years of running back and receivers, what year during their career they won it. So Saquon year 7, Christian McCaffrey year 9, Jefferson 3. Then we had Cooper Kupp year 5, Derrick Henry year 5, Michael Thomas year 5, Todd Gurley year 3, DeMarco Murray year 4. I think it's kind of like the 3 to 7 ish, maybe 4 to 7 is that sweet spot.
Yeah, the more interesting study would be what round were they drafted in fantasy. Because I think that would be the stronger indicator. How often are we getting an outlier versus how often are we getting chalk?
Off the top of my head, I think every one of these guys was a 1st round pick.
I can tell you Todd Gurley wasn't, because I had a tremendous cash in the FFPC that year, snagging him as a 3rd rounder.
I can't imagine Michael Thomas was a 1st round pick either.
In 2019,
possibly, because if we pulled his,
not to be the nerd, but it depends if you're in a full point PPR or not, because that was his thing, right? Like he was just
Well, that's the year. That's the year he got
merchant.
it when he had like 140 catches.
He did have 125 catches with 1,400 yards
the year before.
So yeah,
and I think not to get ahead of ourselves, but I think you're kind of that to me would be the Ladd McConkey route. If Ladd McConkey has some crazy 110, 115. I don't know how many catches he has to have.
No guy named McConkey is winning this award. I mean, I don't.
You think they're racist against lads?
Probably, yeah.
What about the Laddie Daddy?
Laddie Daddy and his white angle releases, but like I said, I'm already I'm already past Ladd as my white. I'm looking for the new whites after Labor Day. You can't wear those old whites.
Yeah, you gotta get fresh whites. All right, so because it's offensive, I thought it'd be fun if I'll just read off names. If you guys need me to stop at any point, you say something. Which, by the way, Jackson Dart 400 to 1. So family members are emailing into these sites.
Yeah, let's discuss it.
Shador Sanders 400 to 1. By the way, 400 to 1. Very similar to the 41 miles per hour he was going over the speed limit.
What was he driving?
I don't know. I have not done the deep dive yet, but quite disrespectful that Jackson Dart and Shador Sanders have the same odds here.
Yeah, because Jackson. I would much rather a Shador ticket than Jackson Dart.
Let's go heads up then. Game started.
Oh no, not game started, but offensive player of the year. I would.
Wow.
Tony Pollard.
You would break your no quarterback rule just to make this wager.
Sanders. Well, also a rookie has never won it, and I don't even think a year 2 guy.
Is that
at
true?
Least
I don't know. What about that Chris? Was that Chris Johnson's 2nd year when he won?
You're right. I guess I'm just talking modern era, and I think Mahomes was year 2 in 2018. Yes.
Okay.
So he was kind of like a rookie because he only started one game. But I think this is almost an impossible award for a rookie to win the way it's structured currently.
Marshall Faulk 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
I mean, just in general, back then it was just all running backs. It's like Barry Sanders,
Right.
Terrell Davis, Marshall Faulk, Priest Holmes. Again, winning your fantasy
Which
league.
is awful, by the way. And even when I split MVPs, like when Favre and Barry Sanders,
Can't do that.
The fact that Saquon didn't get a piece of MVP is crazy.
Oh wow!
I mean, come on,
Bringing it back to
that's
that.
crazy.
Tony Pollard. All these guys are 400 to 1. Tyler Boyd. This is ridiculous. Cole Kmet, Pat Freiermuth, Dontavian Wicks, Elijah Moore, Adam Thielen. Gave Sean a pause there. Darnell Mooney, Javonte Williams, David Njoku. Quick pause to update you. If you didn't see the mic'd up at David Njoku video that was circulating social, 1,000,000% Joe Flacco is there starting quarterback. Kyle Pitts, Ramondre Stevenson, Jonnu Smith. That's a disrespectful number. TJ Hawkinson, Josh Palmer, Wan'Dale Robinson, Evan Ingram, Tyler Algier, Travis Kelce. Sean was commenting on how slim Travis Kelce looked today.
Lost 25 pounds.
He did lose weight.
It's because he's not lifting on tour with Taylor Swift anymore. Probably still on the path to retirement. Dalton Schultz, Aaron Rodgers. He's been on the podium recently. He's been a top 4 finisher in the last 5 years. Aaron Rodgers, 400 to 1. Any takers?
What numbers are we talking about here?
400 to 1.
400.
I'm all at the bottom.
We're in the 400 to 1.
Rashid Shaheed.
Kurt, you don't have to read off everyone.
What do you mean? This is fun. I'm giving you news updates too. Rashid Shaheed, who by the way is ripping up camp according to Nick Underhill down there in New Orleans. Dallas Goedert, Tank Dell, who's not going to play football this year. Kirk Cousins might not play football this year. Brandon Cooks, all 400 to 1. No one? No takers. Okay. 300 to 1, which how do you even, I mean, where do you come up with the price 400 to 1? It's just, you're taking money. Tucker Kraft, again, 300 to 1 now. Tucker Kraft, Quentin Johnston, DeAndre Swift. I heard some Swift talk earlier in the room.
Swift talk. I mean, he is the RB1 for these Bears, right? And I mean, but
the issue is that there are very clearly other touchdown vultures on the team, and the coach has employed a pro touchdown vulture approach in Detroit. That would be my counter argument.
The argument for him is he's the RB1 in a Ben Johnson offense.
That's what I mean.
Now, certainly you would expect they're going to be throwing the ball more, etc.
And familiarity with the coach.
But they do have a bruiser who's probably I don't think Swift will be their goal line back. That's my main concern. Kirk,
but neither was Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, he would get he would get his share. You know, I mean, Montgomery's a few, but there's enough to eat there. I mean, I'm not saying Swift is Gibbs, but you know,
he could be. Yeah, that was dream scenario, and he still didn't get the award.
All right,
Christian Kirk, George Kittle, Dalton Kincaid, Cooper Kupp. Just gonna give Sean a pause on all the old
Cooper
white guys.
Kupp,
Rashad Bateman, Jacoby.
Cooper Kupp is always interesting. I mean, he might get comeback player of the year before he would get offensive.
And I think his teammate is someone we might need to pause on later. Rashad Bateman, Jacoby Myers, Rico Dowdle, Josh Downs, Jake Ferguson, Rashad White, Xavier Legette. I know he's a fan favorite.
I mean,
it's definitely a.
That could be country mumble talking to that.
I don't think they have the numbers to distribute down there to get an offensive player of the year. Jonathan Brooks probably not going to be playing football this year.
I mean, it's kind of insulting the guy who's going to be out for the entire year. It's the same odds.
That's true. Juwan Jennings, who
these are criminals. Dealing with some on these guys.
Dealing with some spring lower leg injuries, I believe. Najee Harris, Hollywood Brown, Geno Smith, Nick Chubb. Ooh, Nick Chubb redemption. Matthew Stafford, Bryce Young, Mark Andrews. Oh no, I'm sorry. So Matthew Stafford last 300 to 1. Any nothing? No Nick Chubb redemption story?
Absolutely not.
He was like a couple 3-4 years back. He would have been a favorite for this.
Yeah, that is. I mean, it is great, but I mean, yeah.
All right, 250 to 1. Bryce Young, Mark Andrews, Aaron Jones, Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman, I have a little. I have a peaked interest. Okay. I don't know if I'd lay it down. I mean, he's obviously inconsistent, but I do expect him to have a big year this year. Kind of a
year two.
Yeah, breakout year. Josh Allen loves him. He argued to draft him, the whole thing, and he was touchdown dependent. Obviously, his rookie year, he put stuff together. There's no competition for a number 1 wide receiver in Buffalo.
Matt Collins, you're not worried about Matt Collins
with the
Shakir.
MVP throwing him the ball, right? Probably. Yeah, exactly. No competition to be a 1A alpha receiver.
Well, and with that, obviously he had Steph Diggs, but other than that, Josh Allen has never really had that like stud receiver. If Keon Coleman can grow into that role
Right.
at 250 to
It's
1
on him.
in a pass heavy offense.
Man, am I talking with? I mean,
Are we marking this?
How do
one?
I not have a 250 to 1 in there? Just that they offer it. Go ahead and give me Keon Coleman at 250.
Wow. Okay. I almost want to price shop this one for you.
Yeah.
Circa might be able to beat that.
I don't know. I would say
seems like a fair number.
Circa seems to have better short numbers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I played the 220.
Okay. 200 to 1.
Yeah, I couldn't give it out at 200.
All right, let me just
250 though. I could
got distracted. Offensive player of the year. Who are we looking for? Let's see.
Keon Coleman.
He is.
I could throw a sprinkle at 250 to 1.
Possibly not on the list.
Ooh, do I have to tweet at Benson?
You might have to hit up Benson to see if we can. Yeah, we'll come back to this.
Hunter in the chat saying, should I just skip to the part where Sean takes Saquon Barkley?
Wow, that's pretty disrespectful.
I've only had 10 Miller Lights, but I think you put all your eggs in one basket. Puka is winning this. LOL. I'll start a dub club once Puka wins.
And shout out to Jake for putting Puka on the graphic. So
nice.
Foreshadowing.
Puka's case is strong. We'll get to him once we get into reasonable odds territory.
Keon Cole. All right, so Keon Coleman at 250 to 1.
I just don't want I don't be an exercise in futility if I'm going through the 400s to 250s.
Yeah,
I want to get a piece of it there.
Something.
All right, so give me. I'll take the 250 to 1. I don't even want a better price. I want 250 to 1. I'd feel bad if I had a better price. To be honest with you.
Well, it's more just about getting that sweet paper ticket.
That's true.
Also, Keenan Allen, who's not on a team. JJ McCarthy, the belle of the ball, as they would say. Although, I will say this: what's their head coach's name? Why am I blanking on O'Connell?
Mm-hmm.
I love how the video of him getting cut on Hard Knocks circulates all the time.
Right.
I just think about how me and Sean saw him at the win, and he had a smoking hot girlfriend. I don't know what it was, so I don't want to say one or the other. Keenan Allen, it was in Vegas, 250 to 1. JJ McCarthy, like I said, Romeo Dobbs, Cam Ward. Oh no,
do we have to talk about Romeo Dobbs at all?
Romeo Dobbs. Because he's Jordan Love's BFF.
Yeah, I mean
they don't isolate the volume enough for me.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I had a deep discussion about Cam Ward today at the gas station across the street.
What were you doing?
CJ's a Titans fan.
Yeah,
he's wearing the
I'm wearing my Oilers hat, and I got it obviously as a joke because I wanted to get an Edmonton Oiler hat, and they didn't have any anywhere in the Las Vegas or Los Angeles area. So I'm like, there's a better hat anyway, Houston Oilers hat, and I wear it. I don't forget that I'm wearing it, but I forget what that people want to talk about it, and so they just assume you're this fan. And I said this in club. I think only white people you have to be a fan of what you're wearing. Like other cultures, they get to wear it as part of their outfits. So not only do they become a fan, like you got to talk about the team. Not what they know. And he's like, so excited for Cam Ward? I'm like, yeah. I just hope Levis stays away from him. I don't even want any parts. Like, I know he was the worst, right?
It's good to have some takes loaded up.
Yeah, I was all ready.
You make a great point because that's where the birth of the let's just throw every team logo on a jacket.
Right. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Match it all. The 8 ball.
Yeah, not necessarily making a hot claim, but I mean, I think your take was spot on in terms of the fandom there. You can't root for all 32.
No.
All right. So passing, we're moving on, Dobbs. Yeah,
move on.
All right, 200 to 1 tier. Cam Ward, Michael Pittman Jr., Anthony Richardson, who seems like every day he is losing grip of that starting job to Daniel Jones. Christian Watson, Calvin Ridley, Khalil Shakir, Sam Laporta.
Now, Sam Laporta, if a tight end was to win it, it's tough. And maybe Brock Bowers would be better, but then Brock Bowers' price is so short. A tight end has never won it. I'm not.
Here's my issue.
At least you could, if Sam Laporta had 14 receiving touchdowns, does he? I guess the counter is like Travis Kelce had monster years, and I don't know that he was ever in the mix.
He's not flirting with 1,000 receiving yards. He had this monster rookie year because he had 10 touchdowns.
Yeah,
backs it up with 7, which is fine, but we're not talking about an MVP, Sean.
No, well, we're offensive player of the year, but I mean,
player.
Again, Kelce never won it, so and they're numbers wise, you're not beating him, so.
Chris Godwin, Brian Robinson Jr., Isaiah Pacheco, Sam Darnold, Travis Etienne Jr., Chuba Hubbard, Do
no
we need,
thanks.
do we need to pause on Chuba?
I mean, I would pause on Brian Robinson Jr. before
Really?
Chuba Hubbard, but I think if the Commanders' offense is doing well, they're going to figure out a way to glaze up Jaden Daniels. So I don't think Brian Robinson Jr.
Jaden
is
Daniels
worth it. He might be interesting in fantasy. Brian Robinson Jr.
Jaden Daniels could win this award. That's funny you bring him up like that. He's the kind of guy who could win this award.
No.
Okay. Michael Penix Jr., Jordan Addison, Tyrone Tracy Jr., a number of juniors in this tier, and Jalen Waddle. Hit that Jalen Waddle,
I was just gonna say I like Waddle there. But.
My God, this is a great price. Tyreek Hill is on shaky ground right now. We know there are elements of that defense that are they're gonna have a secondary that leaves a little to be desired. And
Quinn Ewers throwing it to him.
Forget Quinn
Give my
Ewers.
300 to 1. 300. I wonder if I could parlay offensive rookie of the year Quinn Ewers with Jalen Waddle.
No.
That might break Circa if I hit that.
Whoa, hold on.
That's sitting in my app
But
right
everyone's
now.
We
in
need,
on.
all right, updated
Viewers are
price.
sitting
We're
in
gonna
that.
have a paper ticket of this at 500 to
Oh my
1.
God.
Of Waddle?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
God bless the Circa.
All right. Forget my Utah plan.
Yep.
We have to get this done immediately before this number moves.
So everyone is on Jalen Waddle 500 to 1.
Well, here's it's a very
Yes.
easy case. We know the offense can carry it with volume. If Tyreek Hill misses, Waddle needs to stay healthy, but if and Tyreek Hill probably needs to not stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But if that happens at 500 to 1,
or go crazy, which is
what do you mean
definitely
go
in the
crazy?
mix. Tyreek Hill misses time.
Mental injuries.
Due to
Or if he
crazy.
doesn't even miss time, if he plays labored like he did last year and kind of put up dud numbers, and Waddle becomes the number one, taking heat off of him.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think I have one more note. Let me see about.
I mean, it's
this.
like T. Higgins. T. Higgins has gotten votes and kind of been in the mix for this award a little bit, like in years where,
Right.
you know, where Jamar Chase has been off a little bit. Speaking of the Circa, head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Circa. You could win yourself a free trip to Circa Las Vegas for the ultimate fantasy football draft experience. You and 11 friends, aka your entire fantasy football league, 5K bar tab, stadium swim, cabana. You get the limo, the legacy club party. Circa's awesome, and good reason to just throw your draft there anyway. Promo code SGP15 get you 15% off. The contest ends at the end of the month, so get your free entry in. You're just giving them your name and your email. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. And we're also brought to you by mybookie.ag. Get down on these futures over on MyBookie. Of course, get down on the NBA Finals. You know I'm going to be on Indiana Pacers catching the 6.5. The yes sirs back against the wall. They got it. And you can bet it over at mybookie.ag and get that sweet deposit bonus. 100% deposit match up to $1,000. T's and C's do apply on that deposit bonus. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code SGPN. 500 to 1. Wow, that's going to feel good.
Man.
That's going to be a good looking ticket.
And you just put you only have to put $10 on it and you get $5,000 back.
All right, back to the stratosphere. 150 to 1.
Okay.
Justin Fields, Baker Mayfield,
Pause.
Brock Purdy, or Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield.
Oh,
I love this play.
Oh,
This is my quarterback play I want to get into. Yeah, I mean, there's only a couple quarterbacks you said he can win, and he's got some rushing, but Baker Mayfield, who I think is going to have a nice year, obviously a big year.
50 touchdowns, maybe.
And he could have anything like that. He could have like 39, 41 touchdowns, and he's the kind of guy they're not going to give the MVP to, but they will want to reward him if he has a kind of monster year. They'll knock the division, whatever it is. The MVP goes to the Blue Bloods.
Yeah.
And then Baker Mayfield, he's the kind of guy, a quarterback that'll put up such a monster year statistic wise that they want to reward him with an
So
offensive player of the
you
year.
like that better than a Mike Evans offensive player?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Because we all know Mike Evans is a dog, and he gets 1,000 yards no matter what.
Lifetime Achievement Award for Mike Evans.
But he is, but they have a plethora of wide receivers that he will spread out his numbers to. He's a kind of, much like Green Bay. They don't really have. I mean, Mike Evans is the alpha, but he's not going to have a Jamar Chase type season where he's going to have 1,800 yards. He'll have 1,100 yards. He'll have himself 6 touchdowns. But there's so many other receivers Tampa Bay he can spread it out to. Baker Mayfield can throw for 5,000 yards, and Mike Evans still won't have like a 2,000 yards. I'm just saying, there's a lot of receivers chance.
It's true. It's true. Between Which, by the way, Circa only won 10-1 on
See what I'm talking about?
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans.
Yeah.
What are they on Baker? Am I getting a paper there?
Baker we might need. This might be a email.
Benson, that's crazy.
No,
and that's the thing too. That happened last time to disrespect the Baker. Like his MVP numbers were outrageous.
No, he is 150-1 at Circa as well.
I mean, obviously MVP. I'll sprinkle on that just in case the MVP.
To answer, 150-1 offensive player of the year.
Yeah, I'm in there.
And to Sean's point, I probably would prefer the Evans ticket. At the Blue Book, they're both 150-1. I would probably prefer the Evans ticket there, but I'm pro Baker and the Bucks this year. There's certainly in my, I'm picking up a lot of teams for this year. I'm formulating opinions.
Well, Mike Evans falls out of your sweet spot too.
You're right. He's probably too far gone.
Yeah.
Years wise.
He's a little long in the tooth.
Probably.
Still producing.
Christian McCaffrey got there in year 9, but now he's going into year 12. Mike Evans.
Lifetime Achievement Award.
But I like
year 9. He probably third year playing though for Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he's injured every other single year.
It's true. Yeah, I wonder. maybe I should have just done it by games because that's probably he was the outlier years wise, but took a lot of games off.
Mike Evans, if he can combine his best yardage year with his best touchdown year, it's 1,500 yards, 14 touchdowns.
And when was the last time he had 1,500 yards?
Normally, he's not a yardage guy. That was 2018. And most other years, he's hitting around averaging probably about 1,100.
And you need to get. For a receiver, I don't care how many touchdowns you put up. You need to put up a 1,500 yards at least.
No, I'm with you.
Award.
So now that I'm looking at this, maybe I'm not all that interested in either guy, but I'll support Baker, just like I've been supportive of the OKC.
Well, just because we need to get some quarterbacks in there.
B Germ in the chat saying Sean just immediately shooting down playing guys just because they're in the same division as the Eagles. LOL. No other reasons. I was the one who.
You know what?
I was the one who was making a case for Brian Robinson Jr.
Yeah.
FYI,
I like this. You are really you're fortifying your island. You got those heavy trucks bringing sand. You're doing some juristification of your shorelines.
Some of us just like one NFL team, right? We can't all like all 32.
I mean, you're just getting chippy with the audience. I mean, I love the chat. You're out here just spitting in their face. Just like the true Philadelphia fan that you are. Brock Purdy 150-1, James Conner 150-1. Now let's pause for a second.
Yeah.
Let's huddle up, Cardinal fans. Is there a path here? Cancer survivor, all-time great guy, leader, great. I don't think he can get there.
He's a Walter Payton Award winner, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's probably better. Chris Olave.
He's coming off a career year of rushing yards, and he played the full 16 games, which was the first. I don't know why he didn't play the 17.
Who's their other back? I want to say it's Cedric Benson.
Trey Benson.
Yeah.
Right. Cedric Benson. That's a throwback.
Is that not his dad?
I mean,
they might be related.
I mean, I don't know how young Cedric was out there reproducing, but maybe a little too young.
James Conner probably missed his window.
Yeah,
for sure.
Chris Olave, unclear if he's going to play football.
Right. Yeah, too many head injuries.
Rome Odunze.
Yeah, he's on the list.
Second year.
I will hit a pause on Rome Odunze.
All right, so Keenan Allen's gone. DJ Moore is showing bad body language. Rome Odunze is the guy they just drafted and seems to be boys with Caleb Williams.
Yeah, and the Ben Johnson offense, the Amon St. Brown, he features the number 1 receiver with a ton of statistics. I mean, it's like he could have 120 catches a year.
I'm with you. Yeah, Odunze making a year 2 jump in this offense.
Wish they didn't draft that tight end.
I'm not afraid. Yeah, no, I love him. But, I mean,
it's a lot of mouths to feed.
He can only help.
Well, no Keenan Allen, and I think DJ Moore is didn't work out of the offense. Or not completely, but I don't think he's going to be the number 1. And as far as year 2 receivers that could make a jump, he checks a ton of boxes. So I like this.
Good luck.
What's Circa got for us there? Just in case.
Just in case. Just in case.
I'll pull up 200-1.
That's what I was going to say. I had a feeling Odunze. I mean, if
Waddle's 500-1.
Right. If Waddle's 500-1, that's crazy. 200-1.
This is
that's a paper ticket.
Sean, remember that reminder we had in the calendar?
Yes.
Stay away from the Bears. I do. I'm instinctually. It is.
This does get away from my guys don't win at year 2 if they're skill position players, but
I think year 2 is the new year 3.
All right, I'll leave it in.
From a fantasy perspective, always been attracted to the year 2 receiver. Dak Prescott, 150-1. David Montgomery, Kenneth Walker III. Now, some of Kenneth Walker's advanced metrics have gone viral recently, basically showing that. Yes, injury was a part of it, but he was given the worst blocking of any running back. When you look at like when he was first getting contacted, how often he was getting contacted in the backfield. Any interest here for an offense that should lean on the running game? They have Charbonnet, and I just can't do it. I don't think I can do a running back.
I know. I was hurt with him last year. I had a lot of Kenneth Walker tickets. I was invested for different things. You know what I mean? Lead division, all that, and injury, of course, was a part of it, and maybe
he'll be fun for a couple weeks.
He's great though when he's on, for sure.
Yeah, I'm staying away.
But yeah, he's a little too inconsistent.
Already talked about Mike Evans, another Cardinal, Trey McBride. Again, if there was a tight end who was going to win it, who is the true alpha on their team, it's probably Trey McBride, maybe Brock Bowers. So 150-1 here for Trey McBride. Comparing that to Brock Bowers' price. Brock Bowers 50-1. So this is a nice price here. I'm not doing it. I'm just letting you know it's a nice price. Brandon Ayuk, Jared Goff, Bo Nix, J.K. Dobbins, who has recently signed with the.
Well, that's my argument for it. Those Denver Broncos, their offensive line, grades out like incredible. 1 through 5 across the board. Obviously, he's got the injury history, but I believe. I mean, just for fantasy guys, I think he will be their featured back. You know, he's their big guy, and like, what does he say? He's healthy. I'm going to be more interested in him to like lead the division in touchdown kind of ticket situations.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm with you, and I think this reminds me of the more likely situation with Sean Payton. Is you remember his teams in New Orleans? They always had like 3 different types of backs. It was like they had a Reggie Bush, they had a Mark Ingram, and maybe a third guy. So. Certainly, J.K. is interesting in that mix. Jerry Jeudy, Alvin Kamara. Speaking of Sean Payton backs, Devonta Smith, Debo Samuel, who per his coach is one of the fastest players on the team. After looking not so fast in social, projecting much. Dan Zay Flowers, Drake May, Jaden Reed.
Now I like Jaden Reed. And they say he's clearly the number 1 receiver talent wise there, but there's just too many receivers there for him to have that.
The reason he is the guy for me, if I'm picking a Packer, even though I think the Packers are severely limited by their quarterback situation. Plus, I saw on the TV today that their GM was not looking to extend head coach Matt LaFleur. Could be a hot seat situation, but Jaden Reed is the guy they like to gimmick around the red zone. That's why he has the highest touchdown ceiling to me. That's why he's interesting. No, thank you. Xavier Worthy, Cortland Sutton.
Let's discuss Cortland Sutton's case.
Here we go.
Clear number 1. He's coming off a 135 target season.
Kind of feels like the peak because Peyton's had another year to bring in more receiver gadgets that he will eventually, I think, find more guys that he trusts. I think part of why
you don't think he could have a Michael Thomas type season?
No, because Evan Ingram. I think Evan Ingram is going to take a lot of the volume. I think that was the year because Peyton didn't really trust anyone else. He went out and brought in his joker tight end. He went out and drafted this Pat Garrett guy who's going to be his.
Bo Nix did lead the league in passing yards. If their
like
offense
Cortland
continues
Sutton.
to grow, they have a great offensive line, like CJ mentioned.
Not for me, but I love it for you.
And we already know Bo Nix is leading the league in passing yards. You already have that.
Yes, I do have that, and it could be a little correlated.
51.
Suddenly, Captain One Team has starting to add teams to his bucket.
No, Denver's always been my Guma.
Buffalo,
interconference.
Buffalo lost their way somewhere when they voted against the tush push. Buffalo officially when Sean McDermott ran the tush push second most in the league and then voted against it like a little whiny bitch. Sorry, Buffalo.
Sean McDermott is a tough guy to get behind. That sounds wrong.
I'm with you. I think it's a stay away, but at the long shot price for a guy who's a clear number 1 for a team who has a high win total, who has
Right.
high expectations offensively.
I like Sutton, but his ceiling talent wise just isn't as good as the other receiver. There's too much
And they
competition.
still have enough
receiver-wise.
running game.
Michael
Right.
Thomas. It's the Michael Thomas example. I just
But
think
he doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll get that 120
Right.
catches.
No.
and he's probably not quite the bitch that Michael Thomas is.
Wow. Why is he catching strays?
Have you seen the way he behaved on the way out of football?
He's been a viral joke where
He
like
hated Derek Carr.
he's been a viral joke where like this DeMar Hamlin literally died and came back before Thomas came back from his twisted ankle.
I mean, can't guard Mike or whatever his social handle is.
Let's go.
Jamison Williams, Tua. Tua's on this list. So earlier today, Sean,
Yeah.
I took this screenshot.
Tua should always be available for comeback player of the year.
Yeah. All throughout the season.
Even though he played.
Let me see if I have this screenshot I want to use.
Even in the same year. He could come back from this year.
Yeah.
Even not even from the year before.
Let me just let's upload this so I can just show it on the screen. Because I was shocked earlier. You know, we want to be friends with the robots and AI when they start taking power. So we use them for various exercises and tools around here. And so as I was updating the title,
I love it.
AI swooped in. This was their first suggestion.
Why
Sean,
you should bet on Tua?
with a score of 94. With, as you know, CJ, that's a very high score.
Very high score.
Title.
You could add excitement, but I wouldn't.
NFL Offensive Player of the Year odds : why you should bet on Tua.
That's awesome.
What is that? Why are they pushing this narrative?
I'm clicking that.
Are the bots?
Yeah, I do want to know why.
I'm clicking that.
Robots, tell me why I should bet on Tua.
All right, so we're not taking Tua.
No.
George Pickens on a new team, and Goldilocks himself, Trevor Lawrence.
Well, you can't win MVP and Offensive Player of the Year.
One or the other.
Yeah, so
Great
they can't
point,
get them
great
right.
point.
So.
Travis Hunter has lower odds than Trevor Lawrence.
That's kind of embarrassing.
That's kind of insane, considering we don't know if he's going to play all the snaps.
He's gonna play on. Well, it's now.
And he's a rookie.
Feels pretty confirmed that he will be full time on offense. So, but at 120 to 1, that is I mean, we've listed off a lot of very good skilled position players in the NFL, and even very good number 2 receivers like Devonta Smith, Travis Hunter, shorter odds.
It's crazy.
Interesting.
Because he's an enigma, and people don't know. But what if he is this freak talent?
Do you
that's better
count
than
his
everyone
pick
else?
sixes towards his offensive
Yes,
player?
of course, absolutely. That's how he got the Heisman.
It would. I think it's going to help him in the Rookie of the Year voting. Certainly,
he's going to scoop all 4 awards.
It would.
And an offensive, defensive, rookie, and player of the year.
But to Sean's point, they will factor all that in to give him an award.
Like if he's getting highlights on the offensive side of the ball, or vice, like if he's in the mix for offensive rookie of the year and has 4 touchdowns and he has 1 defensive touchdown, they are totally counting that towards his offensive rookie of the year.
But if he has a good enough year on defense and his offense is great, he just steals the defensive rookie.
Scoop it would be amazing.
All right, Jordan Love 120 to 1. DK Metcalf.
Ooh, now he's something you could talk myself into.
Well, we have to have a conversation.
He's an elite one with no competition.
Well,
Kramer already has.
I have 170 to 1 in my pocket.
Well then that's not even worth 120 to 1. What's Circa got for me?
I'm pulling it up because only 100 to 1. So 120 to 1 is the better number. Mark me down for this one because it still applies. When I grabbed it at 170 to 1, Aaron Rodgers had not signed yet.
Okay.
The reason is very obvious. He is a true alpha receiver. He now has a quarterback that has lifted Devontae Adams to some of his best seasons as a pro and seasons where he was on the cusp of winning Offensive Player of the Year. This was giving it to the fantasy football champion. It was just quarterbacks getting it. And while I don't necessarily love DK Metcalf, I do think that him and Aaron Rodgers getting on the same page for back shoulder is nearly impossible to defend. He's so much bigger and stronger than Devontae Adams. He might not be the route runner, but I think back shoulder is all about the quarterback and timing. So yeah, it's going to be one of those. He would have to have a 20 touchdown type of year.
Yeah, but you don't have to talk. I mean, I don't know why you don't like DK Metcalf. I mean, he's
as a receiver,
very easy to talk into for sure, but he's never had an Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean,
football.
I like the situation.
Not that I want to throw cold water on the situation. I just don't think an Arthur Smith offense is going to facilitate a receiver be an offensive.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers listens to an Arthur Smith offense.
That's
so
also
Arthur
true.
Smith likes tight ends. Aaron Rodgers hates tight ends.
Yeah,
So, like,
there could be some bad
You
vibes
know
in
what I
Pittsburgh.
mean?
I'm sure I'll be.
Does
on
Aaron
the-
Rodgers like Cordero Patterson? That's the question.
I'm sure I'll be on the over 8.5 wins,
Right.
but I don't fantasy and stuff like that. It's tough to get.
All
there.
right, he talked me out of Metcalf.
I
If it was 170, I'd dive right on it.
yeah.
But
There's a cutoff.
I can't get out of bed for 120.
Ryan Tannehill threw for 33 touchdowns in an Arthur Smith offense once. But just throwing that out
Right.
there.
And then when they got rid of him or when he left, that's
Just
when they
throwing
gave
that out there.
Vrabel Coach of the Year after winning 11 games.
So you're on
because of
Metcalf
that.
too, yeah? No,
At 120, I know with the. You know what? I
Yeah,
talked
it's still a
myself
great
back
price.
into it. It is still a great price.
still a great price.
I talked myself out and back in. I was in. I'm out.
it's a
then I'm
wild
in.
ride.
So we
Now, would you
Like-
rather-
I'm like Rodgers himself. I can't decide.
we were just go ahead, Sean.
No, I'm saying, would you rather have DK Metcalf or the next guy, Devontae Adams,
No.
where you have a better quarterback but an older receiver?
He's a number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You can't take a number 2.
Well, we did take Jalen Waddle.
You can't
but
take a number 2
it's
unless
at
you're
500 to 1, and the case for him to become the number 1, I think, is a lot easier than Puka. Although Puka has gotten banged up.
I think Adams has shown us a lot more than Waddle. That's why his price is discounted. But yeah, I mean, it would take the same angle. Puka getting hurt. Maybe we're talking ourselves into Devontae Adams here. So all right. So Puka does get hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Rams are still going to pass at the same rate they like to pass.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams, still an elite route runner on turf. You know, probably a lot of good matchups in division.
He's just going into year 12, and it's
He's
the same.
old.
It's
All
the
right.
same thing like Mike
Right.
Evans, where
Yeah.
he's still operating at a high level, but you have
Need
to
a
be
bigger number.
Yeah, he's still great. And I think if Puka gets hurt, that offense is in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Adams' volume will uptick, but I don't think his success will.
I still think the year 3 to 7 is a sweet spot.
I think he's going to need Puka to be successful.
So DK's in that sweet spot.
Yeah.
So, for the record.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. It's the quarterback. Aaron Rodgers isn't in a sweet spot offensively, and the Steelers.
He's in a great mental spot, though. By the way, Circa has Devontae Adams at 225 to 1. Is that interesting?
Damn it! They have such crazy bigger prices, and it's some CLV. No, he's a number 2. I'm already played one number 2 receiver in Waddle.
Do not bring this sheet to Vegas.
Yeah. That's the problem. Nothing worse than when I pull up the sheet in Vegas today. What am I betting on?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Where am I at?
We're at Joe Mixon.
All right. Devontae Adams, Joe Mixon, Breece Hall, Caleb Williams.
Brees Hall real quickly. Not that I want to play him, but last year.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like
he was like
15 to 1 thanks to certain sharps in their podcast who really pushed him in the summertime and like crashed his number.
It was 18 to 1 when I gave it out. He's down to 15
down
to 1.
15.
Huge win.
Meanwhile, Saquon, who won it, was 22 to 1.
Yeah.
But below Brees
Yeah.
Hall.
Kyler Murray.
No.
Oh,
And you passed Caleb.
Caleb Williams, Kyler Murray. He's the kind of guy that could win this award.
Yeah.
I'm definitely in on the Cardinals this year. I don't think I can do it though.
He's more of a passing yards guy, I would say.
I don't think I can do it.
Yeah. No thanks.
And I failed to update this guy's number earlier, but I'm in on the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Chase Brown probably couldn't get there. It's 100 to 1 at the Blue Book. It's 175 to 1 out at Circa. I'm gonna pass simply because I think there's too much heat everywhere else on his roster. He arguably has the best wide receiver 2, the best wide receiver 1, maybe a MVP quarterback. So I think it's going to be very difficult, even if he eats and has a 15 touchdown season. Still hard for me to see. And I think he's Canadian. Is it Canadian? Can a Canadian win this award?
No, they're not eligible.
Canadian just won the NBA MVP. You never know. Crazier shit.
Series
happen.
isn't over yet, Ryan.
Well, I mean, SGA did win the regular season MVP.
It's true.
DJ Moore, who I don't like that play at all. Marvin Harrison Jr.
You could talk me into Marvin Harrison Jr. if you're, I know, with your Cardinals, and I mean they're going to have to focus him as the
my worry
second year guy.
He could have a big year.
Yeah, he could have a monster year.
But what if he is slow, and he's actually not that good, and he just somehow faked the entire NFL because his dad is a scary guy who owns antique guns, allegedly.
Well, and again, he's not. He is the number 1 receiver, but I still think he's kind of the number 2 to Trey McBride. So
I think he's definitely the number 2 to Trey McBride.
Yeah, I don't want any part of him, and I'm not as bullish on the Cardinals' offense as Kramer's.
I'm very bullish.
Yeah.
In fact, you know what?
I mean, I would take. If I was bullish on the Cardinals, I would take Marvin Harrison.
Really?
Absolutely.
That's as supportive as CJ can get. If I was,
if I was you, if I was shared your delusions, I would definitely jump on into Marvin Harrison.
Okay.
I think he'd have a big jump this year.
I want to like the take, but I'm not going to do it. I will be emailing Jeff Benson. You know what, Sean? Scroll back down the sheet and mark Trey McBride for me.
McBride.
Yeah.
First tight end ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I do want to have a piece of the Cardinals. That's the best price. I'm noticing that Jeff Benson's too cowardly to list a tight end named Trey McBride. So, all right, going back to the 100 to 1s.
Yeah. Let me just say something real quick on Marvin Harrison. In the historical scope of receivers, he was right on par with some of the best wideouts of the last 30 plus years, I say, yes.
Oh.
And of course, he had a disappointing year. He had 62 for 885 and 8 touchdowns. But some of those explosions, like in week 2, 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. They say he's going to make a step. Now, how big that step is going to be, obviously.
This is the big step. The year 2 step is the biggest step.
I mean, you have none of your experience, obviously. Cardinals are in year 3 of their current coaching regime as well. So that also will help.
All right. Good luck. By the way, McBride is only 115 to 1 at Circa. I found him. Not in order. They're killing me with the order here. All right. Next up, Ladd McConkey.
Yeah, I'm taking a slice on Ladd. He was top 10 in receiving yards as a rookie. I don't think they brought in any legit competition for him at the pass catching position. Justin Herbert is not afraid to pad some stats in the regular season. He'll blow it in the playoffs. But
why did that come up?
What do you mean?
Why did that come up?
Oh, because everyone says
I'm going to clip that and send
everyone
that to
says
Decker.
Jalen Hurts is worse than Justin Herbert.
This is a Jalen Hurts take.
Yeah, they're all Jalen Hurts.
This
takes.
is a Jalen
Wake
Hurts
up,
take?
Ryan. Wake up. Oh, Ladd McConkey at 100 to 1. I'm in. It's a long shot, but I'm in.
What's Circa got Ladd X? I would
also at 100 to 1.
Oh, really? So I was going to say I would like a better number for Ladd.
Yeah, then maybe it should be 125, 150. But
I like that they brought back Mike Williams. I know he doesn't stay healthy, but the touchdown impact there. I don't think they're going to give this award to someone who catches a lot of passes for a lot of yards and has like 5 touchdowns.
He has 7 last year.
Yeah,
and so for him to make a year 2 jump, if he gets to 11 touchdowns,
I don't think you're winning with 11 touchdowns.
All right.
And your name's, like I said before, Ladd McConkey. It's just not happening.
Hey, Ryan, head over to Underdog Fantasy. Great time to get in on Underdog Fantasy with the Pick'em. I know everyone's been using the extender promo. I got my extender in. What's it? 90% profit boost. If there's an NBA Game 7, 100% profit boost. Oh my god! Gonna be loving that. Just the Pick'em is so fun. They have some NFL season long. Let's see if I can pull up a Ladd McConkey. Yes, Ladd McConkey. Oh, they already have Game 1 Friday night in Brazil again, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Very nice with the Chiefs.
Ladd McConkey. Do we think he can get higher than 69.5 receiving yards? Yes, sir. Give me some early Ladd McConkey higher.
Yes, sir.
69.5 receiving yards over on UnderdogFantasy.com.
Have we checked the Brazilian field yet, though?
That is true. But remember, it was some of the defenders were slipping. Like the passing yards and the points were pretty
right. There were big plays,
pretty high.
So for those keeping track at home, Sean now adding another team to the bucket. The Lads.
Oh, Lads? Yes, I'm always pro Lads. Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. Get you 100% deposit match up to $1,000. And of course, we're also brought to you by Rhythm, your place for AI back picks and props. Going to be using this all NFL season. Good reason to get in over on Rhythm. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Get your 7-day free trial. They got you covered for NBA, MLB, WNBA. And their debut on the power trend. Here's a power trend. Kenrich Williams, power forward for the Thunder, over a half assists. This is also just a D-gen way to watch a game. Just betting on one guy to get 1 assist. It is a great sweat. And you know it's backed with data you can trust. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Get you a 7-day free trial today.
All right, we're sliding down the pyramid.
I tailed rhythm on that play.
Yes.
I'm like, that sounds fun.
I mean, any NBA that's like
one
over
thing.
or under a half.
Yeah, just do one thing.
It's fun.
And he doesn't have to score. Just give it to somebody.
Yeah, it is. You are like a maniac rooting for those.
Right.
Next up, we'll combine 80-1 and 75-1.
Yes.
We have JSN at 80-1.
Yeah, I'm in on JSN.
So the case is like I confident you're going to hear people make a case that talks about Sam Darnold allowing for statistics that could compete for an offensive player of the year because he just finished throwing to Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and in a pretty good offense. Now we know nothing about this offense. We literally know nothing about this offense because I don't know if we've seen Sam Darnold. I mean, every other time we've seen Sam Darnold, he's looked like hot ass. But JSN took that big step forward last year.
Yep.
In his year 2, year 3, maybe like he went from like in the doghouse to exploding last year to he has Cooper Kupp, but this is going to be he could have an alpha target share.
That's what I mean. See, I argue that yes, he played the slot with Seattle because they had Metcalf and Lockett out there, but it was kind of out of need. I think he's going to be better off spread out wide and the number 1 wide receiver, like into force this year. And he won't be Justin Jefferson, but this offense will be run heavy, but play action heavy, which will set up deep plays for him.
Yeah, I get it at 80-1, totally.
I mean, you're talking about a number 1 receiver with no competition for a number 2.
No, that's a great point. And again, they brought him in for a reason.
Yeah, and he's good.
Well,
they brought in Darnold. I just think part of Darnold's success was the Kevin O'Connell offense, was being in a dome, was the game script, was having Addison and Justin Jefferson playing off of each other. I'm not throwing.
He's not used to naysayers, Sam Darnold. I'll tell you that much. He's still only 19 years old. Don't forget Sam Darnold. No, he's 28.
He does look young.
I mean, he is still young. 28. I don't know. I just think that this number 81, it's very rare you have a number 1 receiver like this who is talented, who does have the ceiling of all the other receivers. He can be a competent quarterback, Sam Darnold. He can be, as he showed last year, a much better than competent quarterback, a Pro Bowl quarterback. At 80-1, I think you have to grab that number.
So DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett combined for 182 targets last year.
They're all going to JS.
So obviously Cooper Kupp is going to pick up some of those.
Sure.
But if you think about it, if Cooper Kupp he gets the same amount of targets as JSN 137.
Yeah, chop him
You
up.
still have about 45 targets left that JSN could be. So I see the angle. I am not willing to bet on this offense or this coach. So I'm still a hater. I think
it's interesting, and he is on his 3rd year coming out. Don't forget, he had 100 catches last year. 100 catches last year in that crowded receiver course with Geno Smith. I don't think it's that much of a downgrade or of an upgrade. Either way, who knows what it's going to be between Geno Smith and Sam Darnold. I think it's just an upgrade in receiver availability and volume for him.
Yeah,
I was just confirming. Yeah, I mean it's also a bet against Clint Kubiak. Sometimes your last name gets you opportunities you have not deserved.
All right.
Rashee Rice, these are 75-1 now. Rashee Rice, who I think he's missing time, right, Sean?
I think so. I mean,
suspension.
Everyone goes, they keep delaying it.
I don't think he is.
But then he's got some health concerns.
But I will say, even if he plays all 17 games, 18, whatever the heck it is, that narrative will be out there. Like, why isn't he suspended? Well, I don't think writers will vote for him.
And you know what? Seeing Rashee Rice at 75-1, I'm actually going to go. And we kind of blew by him initially, but give me Xavier Worthy at 150-1 because I think the case for him to have, and maybe it was just watching him in the Super Bowl, and granted he had some garbage time, but he has that incredible speed. If Patrick Mahomes has any sort of bounce back year passing touchdowns, if Travis Kelce is washed, as Kramer attests, and maybe he retires, Rashee Rice, the formula for Xavier Worthy to be the number 1 offensive threat in a Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid offense, I don't think it's that crazy of a formula. So I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna move my Odunze onto play onto Xavier Worthy at 150 to 1 because now that I look at both year 2 guys, I'd much rather have Xavier Worthy because of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and
I can get
slightly
you.
less.
I can get you a paper ticket for 200.
Okay, yeah,
200 to 1.
200 to 1. Xavier Worthy.
That's nice.
But I Rashi Rice. Too many questions.
No, I like your Worthy.
So many questions. But he was such a stud with that offense when he was on.
When he was working, it was awesome.
Jalen Hurts, C.J. Stroud, James Cook, who, upon deeper look, James Cook might hold out. I think he's that convinced.
I think that's scripted for Hard Knocks. They need to hold out every Hard Knocks episode, and they said, "Cook, this is you."
Well,
buddy.
he did show up for the voluntary OTAs or whatever.
Right.
So he's not. I don't think he's that serious on this.
You show up for the stuff you're not.
Getting
you don't have, but then the mandatory stuff is the stuff that you don't show up for. That's how you show the team who's boss. T. Higgins, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
No thanks.
No, thank you. T. Higgins, I had to pause and tell myself no. All right, Bucky Irving, 65 to 1. This feels like a man in the box play.
I mean, yeah.
But you already went Baker.
Yeah, I already went Baker. I love Berkey. I love Bucky Berkey. But yeah, no, I'm a Baker. I'm on that Tampa passing offense.
Yeah.
Now, if there is a running back that kind of started the ascension last year that could have a massive year because the offense is really good and he's cleaning up all the touchdowns, just seems so hard. That offense is going to spread the ball around, and so it seems hard that.
Also, I'm a little weary of running backs. No. He became the bell cow alpha towards the end of the year, but when it's the full season, his first time at the full season, right. I don't trust those.
Terry McLaurin still holding out.
Yeah.
60 to 1. I mean, he's getting. I would be pissed too if Fat Debo Samuel was getting paid more money than me, and I was the clear alpha on the team. Yeah, the guy can't even run routes.
Everything broke right for Terry McLaurin and the Commanders' offense. I don't. He could have his same numbers as he had last year, which was really good, and he was nowhere close to the mix.
No, but he definitely should be getting paid more money than Debo Samuel. Yeah. He actually he is a tough player to go against. Debo is just a gadget. Devin Achan 50, and I need to shot 53 to 1, which looks like a number that Sean already shopped. If I had to guess, boy, this is another Dolphin that makes you pause because it's kind of another way to fade Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, but ultimately, Mike McDaniel loves the passing game so much. I mean, he's less
had
competition.
4 touchdown games though, like this.
Yeah, no, I get. Yeah,
he had a 4 touchdown game in a game where another running back on his same team had a 4 touchdown game.
Let's see more about the Denver defense. Being honest,
can we get a Raheem Mostert number?
Right, yeah, backing up out in Vegas.
He's not even out. They got rid of him.
I love drafting him in best ball for the Raiders. I mean, you don't think Pete Carroll has a plan for Raheem Mostert? So all right, so Achan is interesting to me
for sure.
I almost want you to mark him in pencil. And we'll come back to him.
Yeah, he's nice.
Wait, and unmark. Well, I'm looking at the sheet. Unmark Marvin Harrison, please. Did not want Marvin Harrison. That's CJ that wants Marvin Harrison.
No, that was you.
Whoa! I said if I was you, I would have Marvin Harrison.
I didn't say I like.
And then
Marvin
you talked yourself into. We can check
I
the
like
tapes,
Trey McBride. I said that's why I picked up Trey McBride. I said all right,
take it off.
Get rid of Marvin Harrison.
Let's move forward. Let's go over to 400.
Get rid of Marvin Harrison implies that
he was marked on the list.
Marvin Harrison said that to other people. Get rid of that.
Well, you're
That's the older Harrison.
Right.
Marvin Harrison. Yeah. Exactly. AJ Brown 52 to 1.
Yes, let's go.
Yes, we're doing this again, huh?
What? Why not? Look at his numbers.
The chat predicted this.
No, they said Saquon. I don't.
No, that's true. But they also predicted you would take all Eagles.
No, I didn't. I didn't take all Eagles. I didn't take Devonta Smith. I didn't take Jalen Hurts. The only Eagle I'm going to play for Offensive Player of the Year is AJ Brown.
Yeah,
okay.
If I was to play one,
because he has the ability to have these. Like in 2023, like his 6'7", and when I had a ticket on him in 2023, and he should have been. Probably got more votes than he. Or no, sorry,
horseshoes and hand grenades.
2022, but he's had he missed games last year, but the previous years he had almost 1,500 receiving yards, 11 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns. He's going to be in the mix.
Probably a quarterback away.
Well,
You're talking about Super Bowl MVP.
Well, it's funny with all that narrative that goes on. I can see them pushing Jalen Hurts' passing yards numbers this year, and for things like that.
And I think Saquon Barkley is going to have a very good year, but he might not. It might not be historic like it was last year.
Of course, it won't be. He'll probably have 100 less carries.
He had all those touches. I mean, usually this time of year, you're pointing out that when you touch the ball that much, you're bound for injury.
Yeah, well, Ryan, I'm Saquon Barkley also reads Inner Excellence, which AJ Brown recommended. Great read, and yes,
some have said one of the greatest injury prognosticators in the land, Sean Green.
And so
every year, people tune in this time of year just to hear who you're predicting injury.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley will not have a season-ending
injury. Models changed.
Market
models changed. You know what? This is a great. Adi, clip this for the when it happens for the mush job.
Well, Ryan, it's just such sour grapes. I get it.
No sour grapes.
It's painful to see your franchise draft him and then just be happy. Just be happy he's happy.
Married to the data. He had an outlier year, and we know what happens after those outliers.
Yeah, an outlier year when he got to a good team.
He's talking about retirement himself. Not me. Saquon Barkley.
I hope his usage goes down.
AJ Brown, 52
same for the playoffs.
Absolutely.
CJ not in on AJ Brown.
No.
You're not a believer in the quarterback, unfortunately.
That's true. That is true. But
Ashton. All right.
Actually, it's more personal my Howie thing because I talked about earlier how I'll never forgive him for the Justin Jefferson thing, but he made up for it by getting gifted AJ Brown, so he didn't have to. And
what a trade!
God bless him. God bless it.
Yeah, God bless the Titans.
Yes, absolutely.
What a trade! I remember that day because I nailed a massive ticket on Drake London to be the first receiver drafted that year. We were at the Wynn studio. Hanging out with small-handed Aiden Hutchinson. Two Raiders here at 50-1. Ashton Jeanty and Brock Bowers.
Now
I know rookies can't win the award.
Yep.
But my God, Ashton Jeanty's the rookie that would win the award.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he could win your I mean, he's being drafted in the first round.
Yep.
So it's not like some out of nowhere wins you your fantasy league. It's Pete Carroll. We know about Pete Carroll and his love of running the ball and what he learned in that Super Bowl. Never again.
Did he learn anything?
I think so.
Now, I'm going to jump in here with the fear because there's already been number shamed this entire episode by the both of you.
Okay.
But I like Brock Bowers, even though it's only 50-1, only because his numbers last year were absolutely freakish with no quarterback, no running game, no nothing. Every week they came in knowing he was the only guy to stop, and they couldn't stop him. Now you give him Geno Smith, you give him Jeanty, you give him an actual competent offense. If he puts up numbers, now I know no tight ends ever won, but he is a freak. He's basically
their number one receiver.
If he puts up 1,600 yards, and 15 touchdowns as a tight end, I think they'll vault that just like with any kind of receiver who puts up like a Justin Jefferson numbers of 1,800, and they'll give it to him because of how we've never seen. I think he can put up tight end numbers that no one's ever seen before.
I like it better than. I like this price considered. If you're betting on Raiders optimism, I like this better than Pete Carroll Coach of the Year at way shorter odds. Because I think if it breaks right, it has to be Brock Bowers having a massive year. Now you also have to, I think, get fortunate on some of the touchdown stuff because GT might eat into the touchdowns. Like as far as your path for Brock Bowers. But to your point, if he breaks like a Kelsey or
Gronk kind of numbers, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and I think he definitely has a potential of doing it. Just look what he did last year with nothing as a rookie. It was
with no quarterback.
It was unheard of, right? With no quarterback.
And it's the argument for him and Neighbors. Yeah, I mean, I think also the worth noting. I do think. I tend to think that Brock Bowers also isn't necessarily seen as a tight end in the same way as like Sam Laporta or something like that.
He's like a Kelsey. He's a star. He's already
it's
a star.
It's
out
so
there.
hard. He's just so normal looking.
Yeah, I know. Well, in the locker room, but that becomes a meme, and sometimes you can lean into that. And if you go
regular Joe,
right? Absolutely.
So CJ's on Brock Bowers.
I'm on Bowers.
Sean?
No thanks.
No, I know you guys have been. I mean, it was embarrassing to even bring up. I felt like I should have saved it for another show and secretly because I mean, you guys were bullying around.
It's a little bullying.
Inducing action, if you will. But I'm not afraid. Give me Bowers.
Continuing on the 50-1 train, Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, and Lamar Jackson, all quarterbacks who are in the you can rush for enough touchdowns to win this award. No, thank you though.
No, I know. But real quickly on Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
he came in second, fourth, and second three times for this award in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty crazy.
It's possible. It's possible. By the way, did you know?
That's just pretty crazy.
Today's Did You Know is did you know Lamar is currently renegotiating his contract with the Ravens again?
Oh, who's negotiating that for him?
Oh, I think it's Lamar, his agent Lamar.
It's his agent Lamar Jackson. I think it would almost be insulting to give him the Offensive Player of the Year award at this point.
He just signed a deal in 2023. Now, I did a little deep diving. It does seem like this is probably just maneuvering to give him a nice raise and also kick a lot of the money down the road because his cap number balloons up to like 80-something million next year. So, but it did make me laugh because that's so much drama, like less than 24 months ago.
Hilarious.
And he's right back at it, representing himself. Kyron Williams, 50-1. Josh Jacobs, 50-1. Joe Burrow, 50-1. I'm not really interested in any of these names.
Yeah, Kyron Williams would interest me only because the way McVay likes to feature one running back the entire time.
He does love Kyron Williams.
And he could put up Todd Gurley type numbers, who has won this award. But he gets banged up and misses a lot of games sometimes.
They drafted another guy. I think they're...
They also love throwing the ball.
Blake Corum wasn't the best, but in fantasy, I'll take a Blake Corum because I think Kyron Williams misses action. But if Kyron Williams does not miss any action, 50-1 would be a good ticket to have. I'll just say that.
He certainly has had seasons with good touchdown efficiency.
Right.
The guy I was referring to, not Blake Corum, but this Jarquez Hunter.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is someone else that McVay's always Gruden had the quarterbacks. McVay has his little stable of running backs. The filthy animal. Next up, so we're good with 50-1. We can move on.
Yeah.
40-1. Jonathan Taylor. Is he washed at this point? If he had a monster year with the quarterback room that he has, is the award winnable for him?
I mean, he's got the ceiling for it.
Let's put it this way: if Colts win the division,
okay,
which isn't the longest price, Jonathan Taylor has to have a monster year, right?
Yeah, right.
And the quarterback probably needs to figure it out. What if they don't get the quarterback play?
Yeah,
but it's just Jonathan
I don't know.
Taylor?
I've gotten burned
too short.
Taylor
Too
before.
short. Brian Thomas Jr. I'll pause for CJ.
No, we can pass on Brian.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The one Jacksonville bet you don't want to make, CJ.
So typically,
Your Lady Jags.
Typically, I would say
I couldn't believe he was 40-1. I thought he'd be in the 75 range. To be honest with you,
you got to think about the offense is. You think about what you transpose a little bit about the Bucs offense and maybe regular season Trevor.
Yeah.
Brian Thomas is very interesting. To me, Brian Thomas is very interesting.
Yes, and he's great. I don't think he's going to sneak up on teams like he did last year, though, either.
No,
but they have Travis Hunter too.
I know they have Travis Hunter. See, I've almost not more Travis Hunter, but listen, I love Brian Thomas. I love this Jags offense. 40-1 just seems low.
Too short.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I was trying to pull up some stats from last year because I wanted to verify this before I mark it. All right, he had
Ladd McConkey had better numbers, I think.
Oh, of course. Not true. Brian Thomas had more yards. 87 catches, 1282 yards, and 10 touchdowns.
Incredible. He's incredible.
Now,
he didn't come on until the week 4.
Yeah,
as the number 1.
133 targets. I think that's what limits him. He might have too much. I don't know if he'll command enough. I'll pass.
Okay.
Short. You're right. Too short.
Too short of a number.
I don't need extra Jag stuff. It's bad enough that I'm going to be on their division price. Drake London 40-1. No, thank you. I'm not in on anything Falcons.
All right. Well, I wouldn't say
Michael Penix is interesting, but I'm not.
Another team for Sean's bucket of teams. Well, Falcons, get the Falcons in there. Come on down, birds.
No. I think Michael Penix is going to look better than he did last year, and I thought he showed some flashes.
Okay.
And I think the Giants will regret not drafting him.
Oh, that's what this is.
No, I think he looked good in the limited time we saw him.
I think you're Michael. I think you need to be softly backing off your Michael Penix takes. I think
you think he sucks.
I think for as many like sharp throws as he had just as bad throws, like really, really bad throws. And if you look at some of the analytics on like accuracy and poorly thrown balls, like he was interesting. I would say I would expect a lot of interceptions this year.
Okay,
that would be my prediction. If I was using it to make a bet, over on interceptions.
I'm just not a Drake London fan.
Yeah,
same thing. I won all that money on him getting picked first, first receiver. All right, 35-1. Tyreek Hill, Malik Neighbors. So interestingly enough, this is I know what we said about Waddle. Can I also be in on Tyreek Hill at this price?
Yeah.
How many receivers can end up being the top guy? We've seen Hill do it before. It's not very hard for him. He's bullying world champion sprinters off the track because they're scared of his heat. I don't know what kind of heat. Malik Neighbors, you can mark down.
And
I already have Malik Neighbors. I already have in my pocket.
And I'm just throwing it out there. If I had to guess, last year he probably went off of what 12-1 or something.
Yeah,
8-1.
No, he was probably
ton of value.
Yeah, he was
he's
one of the
in
chalk.
the Jefferson price
right.
range.
He's at one of the chalk.
So you're getting a heavy discount.
At 35-1, you're getting a nice price. I still don't want him though.
Nah, I'm staying away.
Cross
all my eggs in the Waddle basket.
I think you can play all the Dolphins.
Probably. So you can lose all three.
Amon-Ra, same. You know what? Mark me down for Tyreek Hill.
You better. You can't make the argument and then not take it down to try to talk us.
So I have all the. I'm somehow in on the Dolphins offense.
So you lock them both up, Neighbors and Hill. I love it.
Well, Neighbors. I mean, do we want to talk about what Neighbors did with very poor quarterback play last year?
I know. I wrote.
What will he do this year with very poor quarterback play?
Well, then now they have guys who are willing to rip it.
I think
quarterback away is no longer a thing you say about the New York Football.
You have to win games. There's no
agreed
4-13 guys winning offensive players.
He cost me a most receptions ticket 75-1 by going to the Travis Scott concert with a concussion for crying out loud and missing 2 games.
CJ's still heated.
Amon-Ra St. Brown 28-1. Christian McCaffrey. So Christian McCaffrey at 26-1 is also seeming kind of obvious, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean it's just a bet on his health, right?
All right, so do I like Tyreek Hill 35-1 or Christian McCaffrey 26-1 better?
Yeah, I think McCaffrey's actually a better play.
McCaffrey's a good.
McCaffrey's a solid play there at 26-1.
Well, this is the range where guys usually come from, realistically. Right. You're 40-1 or shorter.
Ignore the first hour, 15 minutes of the show.
Although this will be year 11 now for Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, he's too old. He's too old.
Cross me off for Devin Achin as well.
So wait, what am I doing?
Crossing off Devin Achin. I can only have 2 Dolphins.
Okay.
Are you
playing McCaffrey?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
You can't go from retiring or almost retiring and then going to Germany and then coming back and being like, I'm all the way in. Bijan Robinson 20-1.
I'm in on Bijan.
Oh, get the fuck out of here,
yep.
CJ.
I'm in on Bijan. I think he could take a step up. I think he can have an 1,800 yards, 15 touchdown beast in that division.
Tyler Algier still on the team. Worth noting.
In that offense, like if Penix is bad as you think, I mean.
It's fair. If Penix is bad, he is going to get a lot of volume.
Go over Bijan's numbers last year, especially in the second half.
I know they're better than
they're advanced. They're great.
They're better than I thought.
And he's going to make a leap this year. I mean, I know he is a bit overhyped every year, but obviously, but at 20-1, he is. I'm looking at like how Saquon was like a 22-1 last year.
Yeah,
he's that kind of guy who can make this leap. That if you're going to give a running back, it has to be a bell cow, and it has to be a guy who is an absolute beast like he is. And then this offense is designed for him, and all his advanced numbers are he's expected to make a big jump statistically for all.
And he fell just short of the 370 touch rule.
Yeah, I see the case totally for Bijan. To me, it's just the ceiling of the Falcons offense, even though I do think Michael Penix will be decent year 2, the ceiling of the Falcons offense is the concern. But I mean, Bijan, to CJ's point, if we think it's a guy that's going to win you your fantasy league, Bijan certainly.
That's what I mean. He's going as a number 2 back in fantasy behind Gibbs. I mean, and you're getting him at 20-25-1.
Yeah, I mean, price considering, I'd rather take the long shot on him at 20-1.
That's what I'm saying.
Than Gibbs on the short.
Yeah, I don't want Gibbs and I don't want Saquon. I'm going to get someone at 20-1 at this. I mean, that's.
If Barkley and Henry didn't exist, Bijan Robinson was your rushing leader last year, and most importantly,
the shame of my picks from Baker to Bowers to Bijan. I'm just getting straight up bullied here.
No, I said I would take him over Jameer. I think
interesting nugget about Bijan Robinson. He led the league for running backs in rushing success rate. Only Jaden Daniels was better overall. After Bijan Robinson, number 2 for running backs, Derrick Henry, and number 3, Tyler Algier. Falcons, pretty good run blocking.
Not bad.
Sneakily.
Now, if we check the tape, and I know we'll have the producers doing, maybe we'll have Adi make a clip of it. It was the disgust Ryan had with me when I said Bijan. He goes,
it is.
It was not disgust. It was disappointment. It was a dadly disappointment.
Yeah.
Like
when I found out my kids they took the initiative to go all the way and eat shit food for lunch.
Right. They were going
similar
to
vibes.
Dave's Hot Chicken or something like that.
Yeah, shit food. Puka Nacua 20-1.
Give me a Puka ticket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, year 3, good offense, playing a dome.
Dog.
Yeah, I think Puka could have a massive year. So 20-1, I'm in.
I respect that play.
Year 3, kind of like sweet spot.
If they don't get Devontae Adams, I'm on this with you. I think.
No, and I think Devontae Adams will eat up some of the production
Just
that Cooper
respect him
Kupp
too
had.
much.
And
Okay.
CeeDee Lamb, 18-1. Any
No.
takers?
Absolutely not.
No. Nico Collins, 14-1.
It's way too short.
Feels too short.
That's a gross number. I do not understand that at all.
no.
And I almost let me get the other sheet open so I can see a little side by side comparison. Nico Collins 26-1 at the Circa, for those wondering. It's still not interesting.
Yeah, that still doesn't interest me, but at least it seems reasonable. 14-1
Now,
is unreasonable.
If you look at some of those short stretches, he was having, like last year to start the year before he got hurt,
Yeah.
he was in the offensive player of the year conversation.
Okay.
But they're putting him right back in at the same odds. It seems a little aggressive. Again, I'm also kind of somehow going to be pro Jags because the rest of the division is in my fade pile. Derrick Henry 14-1. He keeps doing it. He keeps like he's the guy that is defying some of the logic when it comes to. I mean, we heard he was washed years ago when he left the Titans. And what does he do? Well, he goes out and has a historic year that no one talks about because Saquon Barkley had like 80 more yards.
I was going to say, how many touches did he have last year? We know with Saquon's usage.
He had 325 carries. And what did he have? 19 catches, and then whatever he did in the playoffs. So he was, but yeah, it doesn't seem to apply to him.
Well, yeah, he's not only kind of worked through those touch barriers before, but he's generally getting a lot. Like it is interesting too because his volume. He's one of those guys where he so often doesn't take the big hit.
Yeah.
That I wonder if that is at all related. But I mean, Sean and I had we said he looks like he might be done. And he's not done. I can't take him at this price though.
Did you hear the story when he was on the Dan Patrick show and he was they were talking about Adam Sandler and he said it's his favorite actor and he made a promise and Adam Sandler confirmed it.
Yeah.
If he gets 2,000 yards this year, he'll be in his next movie.
How nice of him.
And Derrick Henry's like, bet. I was going to do that anyway.
I was planning on getting 2,000.
He's motivated because he wants to get into Billy Madison.
I can see it. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it's a no for me, dog.
It's definitely a no for me, but I mean,
I don't want to talk shit on Derrick.
If we're looking at the last two running backs, one year, Saquon and McCaffrey, and if you want to like put it in the chalk, the top 5 running backs, Henry is the lowest of the price I would go with that. That's why I still like my Bijan even more.
I mean, you could argue even going back like these last 6 years of skill position players winning it, for the most part, these were historic years.
You're right. Fair enough.
And I think. So you almost have to like, can this guy have a historic year? You kind of.
I mean, he almost had 2,000 last year.
Yeah, he had one last year.
No,
really.
I agree. And where did he finish in the voting? Coming so close to the production of Saquon Barkley.
Right, and he had one in 2020.
Fourth place.
And he had one in 2020.
Justin Jefferson 14-1.
I really wanted a better number, but obviously you're not going to get it.
Don't love the quarterback.
Don't love the quarterback, but I think that might help his argument.
True.
If he puts up an 1,800 yard receipt, there with JJ McCarthy throwing the ball in that offense, he might be the lowest I'll go. I kind of like Justin Jefferson.
I mean, there's what's not to like about Justin Jefferson.
Right.
Again, maybe the quarterback is the only concern, but I've been told that he's going to be great, even though it's his first year throwing a football at a professional level.
Oh boy.
And
I don't see a lot of 2-time offensive player of the years in the last 20 years. And he already won in 2022. So I do think if it's close, you might lose out on some narrative stuff. But again, the guy's awesome.
Yeah, he is incredible. And did you see his speech? He was yelling at these kids at a camp.
I did see
about
that. I'm
dig
like,
post routes
Jesus
and
Christ,
stuff.
man.
I was like,
We don't do a post dig. You either do a dig or a post. There ain't no post dig in the NFL. Maybe. And you go to college, play at a real SEC school.
Yeah, real SEC school. Your quarterback's messed up. Your speed takes you inside. That's the dig. You know what? Give me Justin Jefferson. Anyone yelling at kids about taking too long of a route?
Yeah.
Come on.
There's no reason for me to be.
Yeah, he's amazing.
All right, Kramer. What else we got? Chalk it up.
He's also he's also the best player in football, probably talent wise. I mean, as much as I love Jamar Chase, as much as I love George, I think Jefferson's a better receiver.
I would.
He just doesn't have Joe Burrow.
I like the physicality and size of Chase. I'll take that over Jefferson.
And these guys were teammates, which is disgusting.
That was Terrace Marshall also on that team with Joe Burrow,
who's fighting for that third spot for the Eagles right now.
By the way, I mean that
you wonder how Coach O won a title, and then you're like, oh wait, who was on their roster?
I know.
Okay,
Jahmyr Gibbs 13-1.
No thanks.
This is aggressive.
Yeah.
No Ben Johnson.
Jamar Chase 9-1.
Well,
I would rather take Burrow at the same price MVP.
The argument for Chase though is he had such an amazing year last year. If it wasn't for Saquon, he would have been Offensive Player of the Year. So they might want to reward him for that. And everyone's behind the Bengals. Burrow's going to have a great year. Like if he puts up another year like that, I think he wins it.
Yeah, I don't think you can win MVP and Offensive Player of the Year, and I just think. Because they have Higgins,
Joe Burrow is closer to 6-1, 650.
Okay.
So if you're
I'm
doing
getting
that,
it at 9-1.
Really?
Yeah. In pocket.
Okay.
No, I would rather take Joe Burrow MVP even at a slightly shorter price than Jamar Chase at 9-1 Offensive Player of the Year. But again, I think both should have a very good year.
If he repeats last year, he wins it.
He's the one receiver in the league that has a quarterback that is willing to just be like, all right, I'm only looking at Jamar Chase.
It reminds me of like Aikman Irvin those days, like when he just like, look, that was it. He was.
That's why his price is 9-1.
For sure, 100%. That's why we're at the chalk.
Barkley 750.
No way.
Love Barkley.
Worst price. On the board.
Absolutely not.
Love Barkley.
Horrible price.
He had a historic year. You can't really have historic years back to back. I think he'll have a very good year. He'll be a great part of the offense. He won't have a major injury. Knock on wood. And I think he'll have a very good year. But at 750, I'm not.
I do too. The numbers are terrifying though. About not talking about injury, but even like the production coming down because of usage of people that backs that had over 400 carries.
Yeah, it's a lot. But he had an awesome year. Hats off to you. Love you, Saquon. All right, Kramer, you officially are on Tyreek Hill at 35-1, Malik Neighbors 35-1, DK Metcalf 120-1, Trey McBride 150-1, Jalen Waddle 500-1.
That's amazing.
That is an amazing number.
And that's quite a portfolio. For me, I'm on Puka 20-1, AJ Brown 52-1, Lad McConkey, the lad and laddie combo 100-1, Xavier Worthy 200-1. And our buddy Jalen Waddle 500-1. CJ, little CJ JJ 14-1. Bijan 20-1. Bowers 50-1. JSN 80-1. Metcalf 120-1. Odunze 200-1. Baker 150-1. Waddle 500-1. Keon Coleman 250-1.
Those are some juicy ones down there.
Those are some sick ass prices. All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Kramer, you have one more thing you want to say?
I was looking at some numbers.
Okay.
And I was wondering if we needed to circle back to Kyren Williams.
Mm-hmm.
He's had a tremendous volume, tremendous touchdowns. He's very close.
I'm on Puka, so
you'll see he's on the sheet.
You know what?
But he got crossed off.
Mark
I started getting too deep.
I can't bet everyone, but
Right.
You're taking Kyron at 50 to 1, right?
I think I missed out. I should have been on the Kyron position.
Okay.
So I think it's gonna have to go in the portfolio. Which, by the way, 77 to 1 out in the circuit. Getting the paper ticket.
Well, I'll be down for that. I'll be down for 77.
CJ's in.
I mean, he was on the sheet at 50 to 1. And I talked myself out of
you're
it.
at 77 to 1. Let's go.
Yeah, of course.
He was top 3 in touchdowns and carries last year.
I know. That's what I'm saying. And
man, look at this portfolio.
The McVay offense.
Look at this portfolio.
All right, thank you everyone for tuning in. As always, make
90
sure you
minutes on football.
Well, yeah, did good 30 minutes on the 400 to 1 long shots.
I was just reading off names.
No one wants to hear this, but he did show up at training camp.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Can't wait to see the chapters for some of that.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money greenies. Ryan,
Malik Neighbors, baby, smash it.
Kramer, let it ride.